Good evening, everyone. The time is now 5:30 p.m. I would like to call to order our regular open session board meeting. Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Board President. Board Member Stephen Taylor.
Here, present.
Board Secretary Ms. Griffin.
Present.
Board Member Mr. Buchanan.
Present.
And Board President Mr. Aaron Hanna.
Present.
Board Member Mr. Dawson.
Present.
Board Member Mr. Morris Jr. absent. And Board Member Mrs. Williams-Wolford absent.
Correct. Thank you. Next, can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. As we move along, we are now at our moment of silence. I ask that you please place all cell phones on vibrate. Thank you. As we move along, spotlight on success. We have Miss Kelly, Miss Tangsley for the kindergarten teachers, Miss Eli M. and Steve S. Miss Swiss, Miss Ortiz, first grade teachers, first grade student Coda H. Miss Tanksley, it's yours.
Good evening, Board of Education, Administration, parents, staff, and students. My name is Ms. Tanksley, and I am here with Mrs. Kelly, Mrs. Swiss, Mrs. Ortiz, and some of our students to talk about and model the essential skills children need to learn in order for them to be able to read and write. According to the National Reading Panel, there are 5 essential building blocks of reading: phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Tonight, we will focus on the first 2 building blocks: phonemic awareness and phonics. Phonemic awareness is the first skill that children need to master when learning how to read. It is an auditory training process and does not involve print. It is the understanding that spoken words are made up of individual sounds, which are called phonemes. A child who is phonemically aware is able to isolate sounds, manipulate the sounds, blend and segment the sounds into spoken and written words. Strong phonemic awareness skills are foundational to all other aspects of learning to read. The kindergartners would like to demonstrate how we practice phonemic awareness using Michael Haggerty.
My name is Ms. Ortiz. I'm a first grade teacher. Phonics instruction is a method of teaching reading and writing that focuses on the relationships between letters and their sounds. By learning phonics, students understand how letters combine to form words, which helps them decode and pronounce unfamiliar words. Phonics is crucial because it provides the foundational skills for reading fluency. When children can sound out words, they become more confident readers, improving their comprehension and ability to enjoy books. Phonics also lays the groundwork for spelling and writing, making it a key part of early literacy. In short, phonics instruction is a vital, sorry, let me start again. Phonics also lays the groundwork for spelling and writing, making it a key part of early literacy. In short, phonics instruction is vital because it equips students with essential tools to become successful readers and communicators.
I'm Mrs. Swiss, the other first grade teacher. Joining us are first graders Eleni, Jalen, Olivia, Coda, and Ariane. Alkanen boxes are a tool used in phonics instructions to help students segment and blend sounds in words. They are typically represented as a series of empty boxes, with each box corresponding to a sound or phoneme in the word. When using Alkanen boxes, students say a word slowly and place a token or mark in each box for every sound that they hear. For example, the word cat would have 3 boxes, one for each sound, k, at, cat. Alkanen boxes are effective because they break down words into manageable chunks, making it easy for children to understand how sounds combine to form words. So our students will be demonstrating using Alkanen boxes. I'm going to give them a word. They're going to sound it out. And they're going to write the spelling for each sound. So you guys can stand up. Writing tools ready? Caps on the back of your markers? All right, first graders. So I'm going to give them a word. They're going to sound it out and write a spelling for each sound. So it's not one letter per box, it's one sound per box. Your first word is shame. What's the word? Count the sounds. And then they will write the spelling for each sound. Okay. All right, now we're going to sound the words out and blend the sounds together. Pointer fingers ready? Begin. Very good. Erase. Your next word is heart. What's the word? Heart. Sound it out. Count the sounds. Good. We're going to sound it out and blend the sounds together. Pointer fingers ready? Begin. Good job. Erase. Your last word is chore. What's the word? Chore. Sound it out and count the sounds. All right, let's sound it out and blend the sounds together. Pointer fingers ready? Begin. Very good. All right, erase. You could put your materials back in your bucket.
Before you guys leave, that was amazing. I don't think we had that when I was in kindergarten, first grade. but that was amazing. Teachers, thank you guys so much for all that you pour into our students. That was amazing to see, to watch them sound things out. And this young lady who stood in front of me, she spelled every word right. So good job. Kudos to you guys and teachers. Excellent job. Any other board members? Do you guys have anything that you would like to add today?
Continue sounding those words out and you'll continue practicing and you'll get better and better every time. You're gonna be amazing readers. I can already see it. Thank you.
Great job, Peter.
I personally am so proud of each and every one of you and your accomplishments. Keep up the good work.
It was the dots for me that good job. Good job.
Right. Good job. Good job.
Maybe you guys can help me sound out some of these big words. Thank you so much. You guys are great. Okay, as we get ready to move along, we're now at our public comment section. They will go in this order. We are now at our public participation section of our agenda. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board. Please remember that public comments are governed by Board Policy 230, which limits each individual to a maximum of 3 minutes and requires that every participant conduct themselves with civility and respect. In most cases, if there are questions to the board will refer those questions to district administration team for follow-up. We ask that everyone respect these rules so that all interested participants may have opportunity to address the board and so that the board will have significant time to conduct the business as scheduled on the meeting agenda. Anyone who wishes to participate will be asked to identify themselves for our records and proceed in compliance with these guidelines. They will go in this order. Ms. Jen Zinga, Ms. Warfield, hope I said that right. Don't beat me up. Claude Holland, Ms. Gillespie, and Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Jackson, parents, administration, community members, and teachers. Today, I am speaking on behalf of the amazing educators in this building. Those who show up every day with a passion for teaching and a commitment to our students. Over the past 3 to 4 months, challenges within our district's business office and the contentious nature of recent board meetings have made it clear that the priorities of our school and students are being overshadowed by dysfunction. This has disrupted not only our sense of security, but made it difficult to focus fully on the task at hand, our students. The uncertainty surrounding payroll, although it was reassured to us that we would get our checks, and it was ultimately resolved, this created unnecessary anxiety for educators who rely on the stability of our pay to support our families, meet financial obligations, and maintain peace of mind. Beyond the direct impact on teachers, the absence of a fully functioning business office forced other district leaders to step into roles outside their primary responsibilities. Instead of focusing on student achievement, curriculum development, and school operations, key leadership members were pulled away to address the fallout of a broken system, not to mention our superintendent. This impact came at a time that coincided with MAP testing, access testing, iReady diagnostic testing, and the beginning of IAR testing. These tests are not just benchmarks. They are moments that define student progress and guide our instructional decisions. Stability and support are essential for student success, yet we have faced instability and distraction at a time when we needed unity the most. More concerning is the clear division within our own school board and the continuous turmoil at the board level. This directly impacts every aspect of our school. Instead of decisions being made with a focus on students, time and energy has been spent navigating discord and uncertainty. When our board struggles to function effectively, it trickles down, affecting the entire school community. Every decision made, every conflict that arises, and every moment of discord has a ripple effect on the very children we are all here to serve. Our students deserve a district that functions with integrity, professionalism, and a collective focus on education. Please take some time to process this and the many different layers that this has impacted. Thank you.
Thank you. Give me 1 second, Ms. Warfield, okay? Mayor Thompson? Ms. Warfield, you'll follow right behind the mayor, okay?
Good evening, Board of Education, community, staff, teachers, and administrators. Welcome back, Dr. Jackson. You were missed. So today I'm here to speak before the board because, as you all are aware, that I started the Perfect Attendance Mayor Initiative for Lindop students as a trial basis to see how we can incorporate that with all of the students that in the multiple school districts that we serve in the village of Broadview. So Lindop scholars continue to show their dedication and education and consistency with the completion of the second trimester of the Mayor's Perfect Attendance Initiative. I have a list. I got the list today, but it was a great list from pre-K all the way up to 8th grade. So I personally wanted to say congratulations to all the students that have maintained perfect attendance, showing up every day on time and ready to learn. And when I went into Class Dojo, I saw that the percentage had changed from the first trimester to the second trimester. So whatever we're doing as a community is working to get the students in the chairs. And so I want to thank the teachers for really pushing that initiative to, ask the students to show up, talking to the parents of the importance of them showing up, because every day a student is not in the chair ready to learn, the school can possibly lose funding. Us taxpayers got to carry that burden. And so we just have to change the ship in how we think about getting our students in the seat and ready to learn for that learning day. This initiative was launched to recognize students who prioritize their education by attending without tardies or absences. At the end of each trimester, students with perfect attendance are entered into a raffle for a $50 gift card to receive special recognition for their commitment personally from me. Attendance matters because every school day counts. It builds strong academic habits, fosters discipline, and ensures students stay on track with their learning. A huge thank you to the Lindop school staff, families, and the community for supporting our students in achieving this goal. Keep up the good work, scholars. Let's push for even greater in the third trimester. So we will do a raffle for those in each category. So pre-K through second grade is in the category, 3 to 5 is in the category, and 6 through 8 is in the category. And we will put all of those students in whatever bucket they belong in, and we'll draw a name, and that will be the student that get the $50 gift card so that they can go enjoy themselves and, just keep up the good work to just really get them in school engaged, because we are in a state of crisis as you look at a national. I spent 6 days in Washington, D.C. last week and advocating for Department of Education, because the funding of the risk that's going to, that could potentially could take place right here, like the Title I funding for Lindop School. And so we have to be real intentional that we do our due diligence. I'm asking those that's here that live in Broadview to do a short video, because we have to tell our story in the village of Broadview, what that looked like for education, what that looked like for Medicaid, Medicare, those with Social Security benefits. Those are the things that we have to continue to fight for, because if we have a loss in those areas, that means we have a loss of somebody potentially being homeless, losing their homes, and then it'll revert back to 2008 when we was in a housing crisis. And then investors come into our community, they purchase these homes, and now we don't have home ownership. And so we have to stand up and fight for Broadview, but I can't do it by myself. So I'm asking the residents that live and pay taxes, we have to be intentional of thinking what's best for our students at Lindop School and how we protect the property tax. So we have a property tax reform coming up on Thursday. It's going to be in the village of Maywood. I will share with the Lindop staff so as many residents can come that pay property taxes. I'm a huge proponent of property tax reform, but I can't fight by myself as we look at property taxes at large. So thank you and welcome back, Dr. Jackson. I love you.
Thank you, Mayor Thompson. Miss Warfield.
Good evening, board members, staff, community members, and welcome back, Dr. Jackson. My name is Aaliyah Lorian Warfield, and I currently serve as the school social worker for pre-kindergarten through fourth grade. Following in the legendary footsteps of Annika Tillman, I am honored to be the second female African-American social worker here at EF Lindop School. Thank you. Today, I would like to give you all some insight on how Lindop has impacted me and what I plan to bring to the school culture and environment. First, I want to take a moment to say how much of a pleasure it is to have Dr. Jackson back in the building. Her presence has truly been missed. From the moment I arrived at Lindop in August, it was incredible to see 3 powerful African-American women in leadership: the superintendent, principal, and assistant principal. Once again, representation matters, and this must continue in every school. From day one, I was welcomed with open arms. Teachers expressed how meaningful it was to not only see a Black social worker, but a Black woman in this role. I want to continue to build on that foundation, creating a safe and inclusive space for both our students and staff. As a woman and professional who takes great pride in my work, it's an honor to serve this community. My mother was a special education teacher for a nearby district, and it brings me joy to carry on that legacy of serving students. I want to take this opportunity to properly thank the board, Superintendent Dr. Jackson, Dr. Betts, Ms. Shelley Ann Aparisaforo, Assistant Principal Dr. Robinson, the SPED department, and my fellow staff members for the incredible journey we've embarked on together here at Lindop School. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board President, Board staff, and community members. I'm a parent of 2 current students. I'm deeply invested in ensuring the best outcomes for our children. I'd like to address a few important concerns I've noticed over the past 4 months regarding the agenda, following guidelines, and finances. First of all, I'd like to encourage all board members to listen back to the recordings of the board meetings. It's essential for the leadership of this board to set a tone of respect, not only for each other, but for the community that has elected you. Respectful communication is key when collaborating and holding everyone accountable. Board members should feel empowered to ask questions and gather the necessary information before voting on agenda items. Listening back will provide an opportunity for reflection and allowing you to assess if you are presenting in the manner intended. Further, I suggest bringing in the facilitators to provide a refresher on parliamentary procedures. This will help ensure our meetings run smoothly, efficiently, and respectfully, following Robert's Rules of Order and following the board's governing bylaws. There have been multiple instances where procedures were not adhered to, particularly in regards to not asking for a discussion prior to voting and maintaining a consent agenda. I want to thank those board members and community members who asked thoughtful questions. While Dalton's situation has garnered attention due to the surrounding controversy, issues like this are not isolated. Many problems are often linked to financial matters and the failure to follow proper procedures and lack of transparency. Along those lines, I ask that the whole meeting be recorded, including after the closed session. I'm also hopeful that for the sake of transparency, members will follow the code of conduct and recuse themselves when voting on items that have potential conflict. Lastly, and I want to make it clear that I'm addressing this issue regarding the position, the titles, and not individuals, and the board should be doing that as well. The community is still waiting to be provided information regarding why we have been without key positions, and some of these have not been disclosed in open session to date. Instead, we are voting on items in this meeting regarding compensation, accommodations, without any narrative about how we got here. I have paused, and I hope board members do too as well, to a $20,000 stipends plus 100% paid family health benefits for one employee. Is this standard for one building school district? We have a teacher staffing issue. And in doing some brief research, other districts are providing returning bonuses and other creative ways to show appreciation to the teaching staff to want people to work in the district since the pay is below local communities. I would ask that the community have a clear picture before voting on additional funds, as it may be warranted, but we don't know because we haven't been provided this information. It presents as unclean hands, and I know that is not the goal. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to working together for the betterment of our district and our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Carissa Gillespie. I'm a parent and a grandparent of Lindop students. I want to thank the teachers for all their hard work with our students this year. I know we've had several staff gaps this year. I also have pause about a proposed $20,000 plus stipend that's on this evening's agenda. I do applaud staff members for going above and beyond in the absence of our leader and superintendent. But I also work in a school, and I know that with absences and gaps, there's shared leadership. So I know that there are teachers and our principals that carried some of that load as well. As we tread through these uncertain times with our government, our finances, and our educational structures, I just ask that this board be more transparent and make sure we keep the attention on the students. As a fellow teacher, it bothers me that teachers work hard and have not been able to depend on their earned paycheck. As a high school teacher in Proviso Township, I receive a lot of broken students coming from a lot of our local broken school systems. In the 23 years I've been at Proviso, Lindop students are rarely on that radar. Our students are generally those that excel. My hope is that we continue to work together, support our teachers, pay our teachers, retain our teachers, and for the board to work together, model good leadership and effective financial and educational decision-making, and operate also with clear communication and transparency to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson. Suminsky, you're next. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Swinski. I'm a middle school science teacher. Thank you to the board. Thank you to administration and everyone who is here in participation. I wanted to start by expressing my gratitude to the board for letting me have the opportunity to have a voice tonight. I'm thankful for this opportunity because of the suppression tactic that leadership has adopted. The same leadership which is going to propose to you that rehiring proficient teachers is ill-advised. I could use my 3 minutes to say how I am proficient. However, I feel like I have the evidence and I have it in frontline as well as my overall summative rating being proficient. However, I also wanted to bring up the idea of extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That is a quote from a famous scientist communicator that is from Cosmos, that is Carl Sagan. Simply put, I would go as far to claim that Miss O is a bully, and I can prove that based on the letter that has gone out this week. Thankfully, that letter helps me provide more evidence for that. I can go into specific examples.
Mr. Hannah, this is a closed session agenda item. It's specifically talking about a staff member. Can we move that this be discussed in closed session, please?
Sure, can I change it to be a generality then? Instead of
prefer that
specific?
we discuss it. Well, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
one vote.
How about we discuss this in closed session?
Okay, I have been requesting things like that. It's just very interesting that now I am being suppressed again,
Okay.
considering I have 4 pages.
Listen to me, Mr. Tonight, we'll talk to you in closed session, okay?
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
good luck.
Mr.
Thank you.
Patterson.
Have a good night.
Can you stay around so we can talk to you in closed session? It's just that this item when you specifically say, I'm sorry,
Go
President.
ahead.
Just when you specifically mention a staff member's name, by the Open Meetings Act, we must allow you time to talk to us about it in closed session. And it sounds like the board is welcoming that opportunity. I hope you're able to stay so we can have a more transparent conversation with you in closed session.
I am willing to have a closed session. What I will say in response is a lot of this deals with things that have already been said, as well as how I've been targeted and suppressed. So I could speak to how I've been targeted and suppressed. I got 4 pages. It's more than 3 minutes.
Okay.
I don't need to target anyone because I've been targeted.
Ms. Zawinski, we'll talk to you after.
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
It would be great to have copies of that for closed session, sir. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? I have grader here, Joshua Patterson. One of my concerns is just a question more so to the board. What are we doing to combat the 34, 35 students that's in the 5th grade class? I know there's we do have a certified teacher in the class, but then I'm not sure if the other teacher has become certified or not. So that's just my question, if she's been certified, so I know if there's 2 teachers in a class of 35, because he came from a class of 14. And, you know, my son's been struggling and he's constantly sick being in a class with 35 children. So I just, you know, hopefully you guys can get back to me about that. My second question is, I know you all are taking the kids on a trip, which I think is great. They should get exposure and things of that nature. But I'm just wondering if we have enough chaperones, and the chaperones that we do have they been background checked to make sure that everything's okay with the children? And then my last question is about the laptops. Do we have a plan on what we're going to do when we receive the new laptops? Are we going to sell them to the community, to the teachers? Exactly what do we plan on doing with the laptops after we get the new ones? Thank you.
Miss Ebony, I've been told you have a response to the 35 students in the classroom.
Good evening, Board of Education, staff members, community. So I do have a response to Mr. Patterson. I broke down by period when children are pulled out and the ratio from teacher to students. So from 8:25 to 8:55, which is our intervention block, 6 children are pulled out. There's 3 teachers in the classroom, another teacher pushes in. And so that's a 9-to-1 ratio at that time. We do have 33 students in the classroom. It's not 35, it's 33. For PE, they are split into 2 classes. For our ELA block from 9:25 to 10 o'clock, 4 children are pulled out. There's 2 teachers in the classroom. That's a 15-to-1 ratio. But at 10 o'clock, there is band as well. So altogether, 10 children are pulled out. There's 2 teachers in the classroom at that time. That's a 12-to-1 ratio. For science and social studies, 4 children are pulled out for services at that time. There's 2 teachers in the classroom. That's a 15-to-1 ratio. From 11:25 to 12:25, they go to recess and lunch. From 12:25 to 12:55 p.m., that's Spanish class. There are 3 teachers in the classroom, so that's 11-to-1 ratio. We have MTSS from 12:55 to 1:25. 9 children are pulled out at that time. We have 3 teachers in the classroom at that time. That's an 8-to-1 ratio. They have art and music from 1:25 to 1:55. They're split into 2 classes at that time. Then our last period is math from 1:55 to 1:55 to 3:30. 4 children are pulled out. There's 2 teachers in the classroom. That's a 15-to-1 ratio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President. Can we ask that information be provided to all the parents in that classroom Because
Please.
that will give full transparency in terms of what's going on and how many people or adults to child ratio. And I think that will make all the parents feel a little better.
Thank you.
Thank you for providing that.
All right. As we move along, Madam Secretary, for your requests.
Okay, we received a FOIA request from Sheila Norman. It was with the upcoming retirement in 2025. We are reaching out to school districts to request the contact information of certified staff who are planning to retire. By gathering this information, we hope to extend an invitation for retiring educators to join our association, providing them with valuable benefits such as legislative advocacy, social events, educational resources, and more. Thank you for the time and assistance. Please send the information to S. Norman at IRT. Then she gives her email address. Your support is vital to the continued success of our mission to serve Illinois educators, both current and retired. This is a request under the Illinois Freedom of Information Act. If you have previously sent this information to us, please accept our apology for the inconvenience. We have had some emails that were not allowed through our firewall. We have remedied the issue and appreciate your response. Thank you, Sheila Norman, Director of Marketing and Membership Communications, Illinois Retired Teachers Association. And that would complete our FOIA request.
Thank you.
The FOIA has been satisfied.
Thank you.
Upcoming events and correspondence, Madam Secretary.
Okay, the upcoming events, we asked that everyone would read that on their own, but we do have one piece of correspondence, and that's to Dr. Betts, Lindop School Board of Education, beautiful floral arrangement. Good afternoon, Lindop Board of Education. I would like to communicate my appreciation and gratitude. What is it? Regarding the beautiful floral arrangement that you sent to me during my hospital stay. I apologize for the delay in the card, but it was really difficult for me to function. However, please note that the flowers were truly appreciated. Sincerely, Carla Jonah Harrod. And that completes correspondence.
Thank you. Next, we have consent agenda. I make the motion to approve the consent agenda, including the regular open session meeting minutes for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025.
Remove something.
Okay, so before we start, Ms. Penny?
Yes. Can we remove, please, from the consent agenda items 1, approval of the regular open session minute meetings for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Item number 2, recommended approval of the regular closed session minute meetings for Tuesday, February 18th. Item 3, approval of the special open session minute meetings for Tuesday, February 25th. Item number 4, recommended approval of the special closed session minute meetings for Tuesday, February 25th. Item number 5, approval of Lindop School District 92 accounts payables for February 12th, 2025 through March 12th, 2025, in the amount of $129,845.97. And item number 6, recommended approval of Lindop School District 92 activity accounts reconciliation for February 2025.
Okay. So now we'll do these one by one. Okay,
But I think 7 and 8 she didn't remove, right? So you can just consent agenda 7 and 8.
okay. So I make the motion to recommend approve the Lindop District 92 payroll for February 12th, 2025 through March 12th, 2025, in the amount of $535,862.60. Can I have a second?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Any discussion?
Yes, was there any?
No discussion? Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Thank you. Recommend,
Excuse me. And Board Member, Mr. Dawson. I did. I said.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say that.
recommend approval to change review dates on policies 810, 820, 825, 830, 870, 880, 890, 895, 8100, and 110 as presented.
You did 7 and 8, them consent agenda. We only have to do separately 1 through 6.
Okay, okay. So I make the motion to follow the consent agenda with 7 and 8. We already voted on 7. Next we vote on 8, correct?
When we approved the consent agenda item, you kept 7 and 8 in there, so we just voted on that.
Oh, so we
now-
could,
So
we
now
go with
you
7
can
and
just
8.
call 1 through 6 individually.
okay, so you be confusing me with all this extra stuff. So here we go. Recommend approval for the regular open session meeting minutes for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Can I have a second?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Any discussion? There are none. Roll call, please.
Yes, Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
No.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Recommended approval for the regular closed session meeting minutes for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Can I have a second?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford. Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. Now we on 4, right? Recommend approval. 3. Recommend approval for the special open session meeting minutes for Tuesday, February 18th, February 25th, 2025. Second,
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
discussion? Roll call.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford. Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Recommend approval for special closed session meeting minutes for Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. Can I have a second?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Penny Williams-Wolford.
Nay.
And Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Recommend approval for Lindop District 92 accounts payable for February 12th, 2025 through March 12th, 2025 in the amount of $129,845.97. Can I have a second, please?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Any discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Okay. At our last board meeting, we agreed that the bills would be available on Friday, starting at 4:30 PM. It was on Friday at about 1:18 PM. We received a text that the bills will only be available up until 4:30 PM. Considering most of this board are working class people and, even special board meetings, when we have them, we don't have them before 5:30 because that allows everybody to get to the meeting in time efficiency. Can we have a discussion in terms of when bills will be available to the full board at a respectful time for working board members such as myself? Also, additionally, I would ask that we either remove the law firm bill out of this vote, or we discuss it after closed session because there's items on that particular bill that can only be discussed in closed session.
Okay, so you asking that we table 5? To
Table
after-
it, but we need a discussion. When are bills going to be available so that the entire board will have access to it at a time that's conducive for working class people? Because I'm not at liberty to come up here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon up until 4:30 because I work.
Okay, can I just read the text message that was communicated to the Board of Education? And so at 1:20 PM on Friday, it says, oh, excuse me, let's be clear. So it's actually at 1:18 on Friday. It says, "Good morning, Board of Education. The March bills are available for viewing in the district office today until 4:30. Please let us know if any questions or concerns." Then Mrs. Williams-Wolford replied back, and I definitely mentioned in the follow-up text message, I said, "Thank you for your text message. And that if you wanted to come, you were able to notify the Board of Education or the district office at 4:30, and we will be more than happy to stay behind. So whoever wants to come after 4:30, we're able to come and see the bills." And you did in fact come after 4:30 on Friday, and you were not rushed, and you were able to see the bills in its entirety.
I won't say I wasn't rushed.
Okay, well, I know I personally didn't rush you, and I know that you also wanted copies of certain items in the bills, and we made those copies as well and provided them.
Could you read my next comment since we're reading the text message?
As a professional courtesy, it would have been good to have the information prior to now. Enjoy your weekend.
So again, I'm asking if we can have a discussion because the last communication to the full board was that at this board meeting last month, it said they will be available on Friday beginning at 4:30 PM. Is that correct communication?
Thank you for asking, Ms. Williams-Wolford.
No, I'm not asking, I'm asking you to confirm.
So I can confirm that that was said, and then the additional piece that was added to it right afterwards was that if you did want to view them after 4:30, that just let us know, because otherwise, if we don't hear from you, we're probably leaving to go home for the week. So that was in the recording. I did go back and listen to it.
But those were two different communications that came out. So for clarity, when will the bills be available to the board to view?
So we want to have the bills available on Friday. If we get them earlier than 4:30, we will communicate with you all. So in the event you want to come prior to 4:30, you can see them. If you want to come after 4:30 because the district office closes at 4:30, notify us and we will stay open as we did this current Friday that just passed.
Okay, but like you said, the previous month, there was 700 items to look over, 700 pieces of paper.
Mhm.
That's why you guys say you can't scan it.
Mhm.
So even if it's a minute per 700, how long is that gonna take? So what is the protocol gonna be in place? So a board member calls and say, hey, I'm available on Friday, or I'm not available on Friday, or I'm available Saturday from 9 to 12, and then that you guys will open the building and allow us to come in, or Sunday I'm only available, or how's it gonna work?
So it will work on Friday if you want to come after 4:30, notify us. whatever the time frame is. I'm pretty sure myself, and there's also other staff members that are in the building up until 8:30. We'll make sure someone is here. If you want to see the bills after 4:30, we just need to be notified in advance so we know. Monday, we're in the office all day. Correct. If you want to see them on Monday, and
Working.
well, whatever time it is, we are more than accommodating. All you have to do is let us know as far as Friday, Monday, or Tuesday. I don't know about the weekends, but I know Friday, Monday, or Tuesday, we're definitely available for whatever hours that you would like to propose.
Well, with that said, I guess we'll have a clear understanding that we can't follow our board framework in terms of the board framework says that we would, as a board, we agreed to review the information that's provided to us on Friday. So, and respond to you all by noon on Monday. So it gives the team adequate time to respond to any questions. So I was trying to keep up that respectful protocol, but I guess this would kind of grant some leniency to that, because of course we can't respond by noon on Monday if we're not able to see all the bills in a timely manner.
Excuse me, but correct me if I'm wrong. Did Ms. Graham just not say that if you wanted to see them after 4:30, she was more than willing to accommodate that?
I did hear that. That's clear that she said Monday through Friday, that whatever time we're available. And just like they have schedules, we may have schedules, but I get the understanding of it. And I get the understanding of availability of bills now. We can call you all and be available anytime Monday through Friday. So it'll be that Friday, that Monday, and that Tuesday prior to the board meeting. Thank you, Ms. Whitfield, for providing the answer to that.
You're welcome.
So my second question that's on the table is, can we either table number 5 until after closed session so we can discuss information that's on this $47,000 legal bill during closed session? Because, and I'm only asking in full transparency because it's closed session agenda items. It cannot be discussed in open session.
The rest of the board have a problem with tabling that?
It's fine.
Let's just do number 5 afterwards. All right, that's fine. We could table 5 until after closed session. Yeah. Good. Okay.
Number 6.
Yeah, recommend approval for Lindop District 92 activity account reconciliation for February 2025. Can I have a second, please?
Brian Dawson, I second.
Thank you. Can I have any discussion? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
No.
And Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr. absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. All lines are clear on consent agenda now, correct? Old business, IASB update on search for new CSBO presented by Dr. Carmen. I don't want to mess it up. Ayala.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It was so refreshing to see the children at the beginning of the meeting. Having been a former kindergarten teacher myself, it is just awesome to see the learning that goes on. Kudos to you for that very targeted approach to literacy. I'm with the Illinois Association of School Boards, and if I do look familiar to you, yes, I was the previous state superintendent of education. And they've recruited me to help recruit superintendents and school business officials and other administrators. And so I am your lead contact person with the Illinois Association of School Boards for your chief school business official search. At your table, you have a pamphlet like this, and then you have a revised timeline. So I'm going to just briefly go over the timeline with you because that shifted a little because of some meetings and whatnot. So we will be posting the position after this board meeting. We want to make sure you take a look at this, make sure it meets with your satisfaction. And if you have any revisions or thoughts, we can get those taken care of. The posting will be through April 15th or April 8th, I'm sorry. And so that's where it will shift a little bit. I will be reviewing all of the applications, and I will bring to Dr. Jackson, your superintendent, a slate of candidates who have met the characteristics of what you're looking for in a new school business official, that they have the proper qualifications, the certification, and that will be given to Dr. Jackson, who will then be conducting through whatever approach is done in this district, whether it's a committee or however that is done. We'll be doing a first round interview around the first week of April and a second round interview around the second week of April or so. Our goal is that during your May 20th board meeting, you would have a recommendation that comes from your superintendent for the best qualified, best fit chief financial officer for this district. So that is an adjustment that was made from the original timeline that we had provided for you. Any questions on the timeline? So I will now be working very closely with Dr. Jackson in the search for the school business official. Any questions?
I don't have a specific question regarding the timeline, but my question to your colleague last month was Lindop is a single unit district, as your colleague came from a single unit district. So my question is, how do we attract and retain a highly qualified individual to meet the needs of our district at the rate that we may be able to pay them based on this search?
Well, I can tell you my colleague, Mr. Mulby, he's also doing a search for a school business official in a smaller district that is about 20 minutes from here, a little further west, if you will. And I was actually going into our system to see how many candidates were coming through. For that one district already, and the posting is not expired yet, there are 18 individuals that have expressed an interest. Of that, half have already submitted their full application. That's actually really good, particularly for this time of year as well. Because we are the Illinois Association of School Boards and we work and support the 852 school districts across this state, we have a wide network of individuals that support the searches that we have. And we also have over 7,000 individuals that this information will be pushed out to. And so I think that we've got some good opportunities, and we have some candidates that I'm already looking at that maybe applied for this district. They can only pick one, and there'll be 17 for us to take a look at least, plus the ones that also apply to Lindop. So I think that we have a good opportunity with the pool. I think that your salary range, which is included in here, I think that it is comparable to a district of this size, even though it's a one school district. And I think that the procedures and the things that you are putting in place to really help that individual be successful in the position, the work with the superintendent and the other administrators in the district, all of those things make a difference.
I'm sorry, I'm just getting this information. Can you draw my attention to where the salary is? Because I wasn't aware of it.
When you look at the announcement of vacancy, you open up the first flap. That second paragraph, you have the salary range there.
Okay, 110,000 to 130,000.
Right, and that was given to us by the district. Okay? If you open the full flap, you will see the ideal candidate. And we listed here some feedback that we received specific to your district, as well as key characteristics that we want to make sure the school business official has. Experience in school finance, in the development of the budget, using the Illinois State Board of Education accounting system. I mean, all of those things we look at, all of those skills for the candidates that we would be analyzing. And so this is the information that any prospective candidate will receive. It's got a lot of good information about the district, the size, the programs, the community. All of those things are important to a candidate. And so I will be connecting with Dr. Jackson on some next steps in terms of when she and I could meet, and I could bring her a slate of candidates. And I will have all of their corresponding backup information. I will share their, excuse me, their application, their credentials. We will check to make sure that they have the appropriate licensure, their references. We do some surface reference checks. By law, we cannot do a full background check. That has to be done by the employer. That would be you. So when you have your candidate of choice, you would do all of that. And we do have an organization that we can recommend to you if you wanted to do more of an in-depth kind of a background check. And so that is the update on where we are at this point. And again, as I said, I will be working with the superintendent. You have hired your superintendent, and now your superintendent has the task of interviewing and bringing to the board the recommendation for the next chief school business official for the district. Any questions that I can answer for you?
No question, just a comment. I would like to say thank you again for all your assistance and working with IASB. Myself personally, I know you guys have a very good standard, and we appreciate that.
Yes, and if you wanted that refresher on a few things, we can do that for you. So just reach out and we'll help you in any way that we can.
Okay, and thank you.
Thank you.
I did all the same thing. Thank you so much for your help. We appreciate it. All right, state of the district. Ms. O, Dr. Robinson, Ms. Pachasik, Mr. Ballantyne.
Good evening, board members, community members, teachers and staff. Thank you all for being here. So you received the instructional data. Do you have any questions regarding the data that was presented to you that you received? So I didn't want to stop at this. This was not in the packet. So I do need to let you know that the students have taken the MAP test. As you can see, you saw the data. It's very devastating when you look at it. It was kindergarten, grade 1 and grade 3 that did well. When you looked at the data for the MAP test, I talked about grade 3 last time, but kindergarten and grade 2. Kindergarten and grade 1 did well. Our district has had devastating things happen to our district, especially during testing time. Right now, what I'm showing you is the Illinois Assessment for Readiness. So this was 2003, 2004. Knowing that our 2023, 2024, thank you. Knowing that our students are taking the Illinois Assessment of Readiness now, during what's happening in our district, Are we going to perform the way we did previously when you look at this? Comparing what you saw in the preliminary in terms of the MAP scores. The next slide shows you what I showed you in October, if my memory serves me right, in terms of the surrounding districts. Are we going to be able to do what we did previously, having that 42% ELA, knowing like what you saw based on our winter scores that are in front of you? We understand the MAP in terms of the adopting the new curriculum, but are we able to do that? Will we be able to do that? That's the question. So that's some food for thought in terms of what happens to a district. Like, so the district, especially being a one school district, everything affects all of us in the building. It affects the district, it affects the building, it affects the children, it affects the teachers, it affects the lunch staff, the custodians, everything gets affected. So I wanted to bring that. I know you saw the data for MAP winter scores, and I know they were devastating, apart from kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 3. But what are we going to do? How are we going to move on from this?
And you may not be able to answer this question, but at the last board meeting, we voted to implement a new ELA curriculum. And at that time, Dr. Best shared that it takes 5 years to implement with fidelity. So typically educators, just as we did see a dip in our math when we purchased that curriculum, in a stable situation going on, the test scores, dipped because, as Dr. Betts and any educator knows, it takes 3 to 5 years to implement with fidelity. And considering we got this ELA curriculum, and did we get all of it? Is all of it here? Are we fully implementing that?
It's a pilot, so it's not a full implementation. It's a pilot to determine adoption.
Okay. And so I anticipate we may see some dips based on implementing a pilot of an ELA program towards the end of the school year, 3 months before the end of the school year, and purchasing it, and her sharing that they're looking at a new one, because I think Dr. Best said the current one is no longer available. It's no longer in print or something, right, Dr. Betts?
That's correct, but that doesn't change the fact that we've continued to use it and it has been successful for us. But what we see here is that these scores are historically low for Lindop. They are historically low. The chaos of this moment has generated these low scores. It is devastating, the effect that it will have on our children.
Any other questions regarding the data?
I couldn't hear you.
I said any other questions regarding the data that you reviewed, that you received? Okay.
I have a quick question. Just
Okay.
for understanding, and I do understand and respect that it takes time for a new curriculum, but it seemed like you were asking us, what are we gonna do? I wasn't sure if that was a direct question to the board or whether it's
We as
rhetorical, like
We as
a
one.
group, what are we gonna do?
Yes.
I wanted to just better understand, and really not the ELA so much, but the math, just because it is so astounding. And I know that this has been a downward trend. We do have this curriculum. Maybe the other board members understand what the plan is. If it continues, it can't go much lower, but if it continues to go down, would we be saying we're going to continue with it? Or is there a bottom where we say, this is not the curriculum for our school? This isn't work, what is the metric or, procedure for saying, we're trying to implement this. Is this working? Because I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what do we do if it keeps going down? If we still have another, I think, 2 years on this curriculum, as a board member, I just want to know, in case someone asks me, like that target question, hey, what are y'all doing about this? We're going to wait another 2 years and see, or is it, this is the plan? If it keeps going down, we're going to look for a new curriculum.
I can answer.
Yeah,
that.
okay, thank you.
There's no magic set of materials on the market that make or break your scores. It is your instruction. And when your teachers are worried, am I going to be paid? Is there some financial issue in our district that's going to make us go out of business? They cannot focus their full energy and attention on the children and their learning. It takes away from the focus of why we're here. That's why the scores look like they do. We have never had scores like this. In all of the things that we have done together and been through together as a community, this is historically low. It is historically low, and it is happening at the exact moment that the chaos is happening in this district.
All right,
I'm sorry. I do want to say something. I feel some kind of way as a board member by an administrator labeling it chaos when that's not the narrative we want to send out to our community. There's things that's going on in this district, and as a board, we've never spoke of it because it's personnel, it's confidential information. And that's definitely not the narrative that we want to put out to this community, that is chaos. As an administrator, I would have to say.
It's open.
There's one thing to say.
All right. I'm going to move on to attendance. Just like Mayor Katrina just mentioned in terms of attendance, chronically absent, we are down from 46 students to 45 students. In grade 8, there were 7 students that were chronically absent. They're now grade 5. There are now 5 students that are chronically absent in grade 8. Grade 5 still has 0 students that are chronically absent, 0. Last month, I do want to share, we did make an error in terms of we said there were 43 students that were low income that were chronically absent. It was supposed to be 38. So there were 38 students that were low income that were chronically absent. We now have 35. So 35 students that are low income that are chronically absent. So when you see here, as of February 28th, there were 299 students. There were 119 attendance days. In order to be considered truant, those students would have had to miss 19 days. So we have 6% of our students that are truant. 15% are chronically absent. So again, that's 45 students. Of that 45, zero students are McKinney-Vento. When it comes to gender, we have 8%. 24%, 24 that are male, 21 that are female. When it comes to race, we have 31 students African American, 12 Hispanic. There are two or more races. We have 3 students and 0 white. When it comes to individualized educational plans or IEPs, we only have 8 students that have individual educational plans that are chronically absent. Again, low income, there are 37 students that are chronically absent. Multilingual learners, there are only 3. When we see the breakdown here in terms of grade level, so you can see here that pre-K, there are 7 students, kindergarten 6, grade 1 has 1 student, grade 2 has 7 students, grade 3, 7 students, grade 4, 2 students, again, 5th grade. So even though they have 33 students, there are no students that are chronically absent in 5th grade. 6th grade, there are 4, 7th grade, 6, and 8th grade, there are 5. So again, what we're doing is making those phone calls each and every day when a student is absent. Ms. Riley's making sure those phone calls are being made. We're having meetings with parents whose students are chronically absent. But there is something to celebrate. So we are celebrating that on Tuesday, March 11th. Our attendance rate was 98.7% for our district. 98.7% for our district. In terms of attendance, so you can see here that for February, the average daily attendance was 23. In January, it was 27. When we look at the tardies, We had 11 average tardies in January. We now have 4, and our goal is 3. So congratulations to our parents, making sure that their children are here and on time. And congratulations to the teachers, making sure that we are getting those students off the chronically absent list. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Did you guys have a party March 11th?
No, that was beginning of testing.
Oh, wow. So the parents wanted to make sure
Yeah,
all the kids
we
were
celebrated over
here.
the intercom.
Wonderful.
Yes, yes.
I
that
know
was
there was
beginning of
something going
testing.
on that day.
Testing.
Good evening, board members, administrators, staff, community members, and students that may still be in the building. There it goes. It's delayed. Okay, I would like to say we are having, it is spring, and the team is hard at work with completing initial meetings for initial evaluations, reevaluations, and annual reviews. Students will be progress monitoring reading and math utilizing FastBridge. Students have demonstrated growth in reading and math from fall to winter. We have completed the PCG staff list certification. That is the listing of staff members that work for Lindop, put into the Medicaid system. So we are able to build Medicaid and they're able to process that information utilizing our Embrace system for students who have individual education plans, or we have student hearing and vision, even for the nurse, is a billable. So all of the staff members are in there and everything is certified and ready to go. Accommodations were entered and ready for all IAR testing, cross-referenced, and shared with everyone who was proctoring testing. Any questions? Residency, 9 students listed on McKinney-Vento. Students have been supported and all identified any needs we have addressed. That completes my report. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I need to click that to know it's nothing there. We all looked around like, is somebody else coming in?
All right, thank you.
Thank all of you.
Thank you so much. New business, PACE, update on the Lindop School District 92 estimated cost payments to the proviso area exceptional children, presented by Mrs. Kathy Gibson.
Good evening, everyone. We received our mid-year cost sheets from PACE, our special ed co-op, along with some wonderful news. Each school year, PACE provides its districts with an estimate of the costs at the beginning of the school year, mostly for budgeting purposes. We received this year a reduction in our direct billing costs from PACE. Our bills are broken down into 3 parts. They're broken down into education, operations and maintenance, and transportation. Our education fund at the beginning of the year was estimated to cost about $980,807. We currently receiving a notification of a savings reduction of $107,000, almost $107,931. So our estimate went down 107,000, almost 108,000. In operations and maintenance, we were estimated to pay $67,948. It actually went down to $41,627, which is a $26,321 savings or reduction. Transportation as well was estimated to be $28,705. It is now expected to end the year at $25,427, which is a $3,278 reduction. Of these cost savings, we will receive back probably the end of this week, because PACE has a board meeting tomorrow, $18,241 directly to the district. The remaining money will be used to pay expenses, that ongoing expenses with PACE. Just a couple of facts about our special ed department. And our costs, overall, our special ed costs include students served here at Lindop, also students served at Pace, and also other outsourced facilities. Last year in FY '24, we spent a total of $939,194. This year's FY '25 budget was estimated to be $1,042,000. With this reduction, we are on line to pretty much come under, just under our budgeted amount, which in prior years, we've always kind of crept up right above the budgeted amount. Currently, this year, we have 57 special ed students, which is down a little bit from the prior year, which was 68. And then in 22-23, we actually had 76. So we are very happy to see this reduction and the $18,000 that will be returned and the other $72,000, which will be used, which we will be paying other expenses to Pace. Any questions?
I just have two. One is kudos. It sounds like if we got 57 and we used to have 68, sounds like we're educating children in the least restricted environment. We're keeping our own here. Wonderful. Kudos to everybody. Also, I know there was some talk at one point because since Pace is a co-op, they don't have a budget like we do. And there was some conversation about keeping that surplus to help them kind of have some cushion because they have no cushion if something doesn't come in right or, you know, like some boiler stuff happened this winter. They don't have a cushion for that. So are they going to keep the 18,000 or?
No, they're supposed to stay on their board meeting on their voucher tomorrow to return to, it's each of the districts pretty much are all having money returned to them. They have 98, 88 and 93 and such. But the cushion, I mean, part of Pace billing us, I know they have had a big turnover and I was talking with a gentleman I was sitting next to our Pace that they hopefully in the future will be billing monthly, which will help them with their padding their budget, will help them with their budget. It won't be a big lump bill like we have a $242,000 bill, which will be at the April board meeting of Pace expenses for the year. So they're hoping to spread it out over, which will help them.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson.
Good night.
You too. Did you want to say something to us, Executive Director?
Good evening, Board of
Good evening.
Education, Superintendent Dr. Jackson. My name is Michael James. I'm the Executive Director at Pace. And I know there were some questions being asked, and I just wanted to clarify. As there is a budget from Pace that we do have every year that has to be approved by our board, which is a representative. There's a representative from each board member from the 5 school districts. There's a surplus, as Ms. Gibson had said, there's a surplus of $18,000+ that will be returned back to District 92 as that is what we don't keep any funds beyond what was approved by policy, the 10%. So if we're at the 10%, there is nothing for us to hold on to. Even though I understand what you're saying, we don't unless that's been a part of the process that we've already requested, and the superintendents are aware of that at that time. And so I just wanted to take a minute to answer any questions that you may have. I may not have all the numbers directly right now because I wasn't expecting to be talking, but I will try to answer your questions if you have any. Thank you.
You have none. Thank you. All right. Recommend approval to accept the $25,000 donation.
Yes, this is Cheryl Griffin. I make a motion to accept the $25,000 donation from Mr. Robert Donat to be used for the renovation of the stage lighting.
Kenny Williams will for that second.
Any discussion before we? There are none. Roll call,
Do
please.
we have a presentation?
Yeah, Mr. Ellis can come.
Come on, Mr. Ellis.
Good evening, staff, community members, board of education, parents.
students. So in October of 2024, Mr. Tone emailed me and Dr. Jackson asking how he can help with any big projects like the marquee. And he's a class of 1983, for those who don't know. And Dr. Jackson, I thought about the stage lighting, so it's very, very old. And so that's what we thought about. So he wants to help us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let him know the board said thank you.
Any questions?
Any pictures or anything? Oh, okay.
That's it. Thank you. All right. Any discussion? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr., absent.
Mr. Taylor.
Motion carries.
Oh, motion carries. I'm sorry. Mr. Taylor.
I make a motion to accept a $500 donation from alumni Hakeem Henderson. The donation was not specified how to be used.
Hannah, second. Any discussion or is there presentation? I didn't miss nothing.
It's not.
Okay. Any discussion? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr., absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Mr. Buchanan.
Board Member Buchanan. I make a motion to accept the school district library grant for $850 for fiscal year 2025.
Hannah, second. Any discussion? None? Roll call, please.
Who was the, never mind. I'm sorry.
I mean, if you had a question, just get it out. No? Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr., absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Mr. Dawson.
Okay, I make a motion to approve to fund the 8th grade trip, a local adventure to downtown Chicago at a cost not to exceed $3,000.
Hannah, second. Any discussion? No? Dr. Robinson. Oh, Dr. Robinson, Ms. O, Ms. Pacheco.
Good afternoon, board members, community members, administration, Dr. Jackson, teachers, and staff. I'm so excited about our trips for our wonderful students. As we presented last month, our students will have the opportunity in 8th grade to go to a local adventure in Chicago, in which some of the highlights would be that they will have the tilt experience. They will be able to go to Cheesecake Factory, a worldwide known restaurant. They'll be able to take tours on the double-decker bus and make all types of fun memories for their last year at Lindop. Some of the things that we highlighted that they'll be having opportunity to partake in is the Navy Pier experience, going to the water tower, also checking out Grant Park, as well as doing the Chicago River Walk. The financial cost for this activity is for the double-decker bus will be $1,150. The Cheesecake Factory is estimated at $625. And then the 360 tilt and view is $1,000 with a total cost of $2,775. This breaks down to approximately $111 per student.
All right. Any questions?
So that's after the $3,000 that the board is given or before the board?
This is before.
So then there will be no expense to the students?
That's correct.
Awesome.
Yay! Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Now, that's good news.
Yes.
All right, let's get some more good news, okay? Roll
Yes.
call, please.
That's what we need PR to get.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Ms. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior absent.
Thank you. Motion carries.
How
Yay.
many students going?
We have approximately
Eligible to go?
eligible to go about 25 to 30 students.
Okay.
And all chaperones are.
We will have chaperones with background checks.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
How many total students in eighth grade?
33.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, board. We are very excited for that. I know our students are going to be super happy. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, board.
All right, Ms. Wolford.
Make a recommendation for approval to fund the transportation for 50 students for the 2025-2026 Washington DC trip not to exceed $23,000.
Hannah, a second. Any discussion?
Is there a presentation?
Yeah.
How many students? Oh, presentation.
Yes.
So we're changing the method in which we do our big field trips next year. We are planning early so our parents can have opportunity to make payment plans. This year, next year, it will be open up for 7th and 8th grade students, and they'll be able to go to Washington, DC. Some of the things that the cost would include was their hotel, transportation to all their destinations, and all meals and attractions. Some of the things that they will be able to see is Jefferson Memorial, Martin Luther King's Memorial, as well as the Smithsonian Museum, which also includes the African American Museum, which is phenomenal. And I think that would be a great experience for our students to participate in, as well as the, there you go, I can't see, the Vietnamese veterans, and then the White House. Yes, Vietnam. Thank you so much. The Vietnam, yes. The cost for this trip would be, yes, I do, would be a deposit the parents would make would be $115 with a cost of $1,025. The dates for this trip is next year, April 22nd to the 23rd. The cost per student with the transportation taken out would be $575. Yes. With starting early, it made the price be less expensive for our families.
How many days are they going?
It'll be a 2-day trip.
Any other discussion from the board? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yes.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior absent.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Sorry, can I just raise a point? If the transportation is $575 per student and 50 students, that's $28,750. If the board were to cover all the transportation.
Well, it's really an estimate. Most of the time, the whole class don't attend those, that trip, so it's just estimate. Yeah.
Thank you.
I thank you, and our students thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. I make a motion to approve the purchase of 300 Chromebooks with a 4-year warranty at a cost of $181,725 for the 2025-2026 school year. Can I have a second?
Brian Dawson, I second.
Mr. Ellis Buell.
Good evening again, board members, community members, staff, parents, guests. So we had a technology committee meeting last week to discuss this. This item came up at the board meeting last time by a board member requesting this due to tariffs. I've spoken to vendors. Vendors don't know what the tariffs are going to be. They go up, they go down. But vendors are telling me the prices are changing daily because of the tariffs. So it's chaotic basically. But as you can see, we had a technology committee at the time was this quote, and we got the price down a little bit, but we thought the one vendor was giving us what we have now, but we only have one one device broke per year, which sometimes exceeds that. But the HP ones, they'll come to our school and fix them on site. So that's what we are recommending from the technology committee and to the board. Any questions?
Just thank you for being proactive about that with those tariffs and stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right. Any discussion from the board?
Now's a good time to answer that question about what we do with the old ones. We just offer them to,
Well,
if they still work.
Well,
it's
first,
fine.
there's a couple things. The majority of the previous Chromebooks
Mhm.
are very old. And we also have other Chromebooks that were bought from emergency connectivity funds.
So we
So
can't
that was
sell
with
those.
E-rate funds.
You-
But if we did give them to the community members, it would be a problem where they have Google admin where they wouldn't be able to access the same software.
Oh,
We'd have to take their names off of it, and then to
okay.
use our software, they need to have our school account, but then technically
So we can't
it's
actually.
it's a wish-wash situation. So
Okay.
the Macs are different than this.
No, I got you. I just want.
So then what do we do with all this old technology?
We keep them for when students' devices break and they need loaners.
Oh,
When students take, borrow devices.
okay. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Good.
Thank you.
All right. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr., absent.
Thank you. Motion carries.
I think the students say thank you, so thank you.
All right.
I make a motion to approve to attend California Association of Black School Educators, CASB Conference, Saturday, July 12th, 2025 to Thursday, July 17th, 2025 in Napa, California for the Board of Education and Superintendent. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah. Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford. Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr., absent.
Thank you. Motion carries. Last but not least, Madam Secretary.
Yes, we have a resolution of the Board of Education for Lindop District 92 commending Dr. Janice Jackson for a decade of exclamatory leadership. Whereas Dr. Jackson has served as superintendent of Lindop District 92 for nearly 10 years, demonstrating exceptional leadership, unwavering dedication, and profound commitment to the students and the community of Lindop. And whereas Dr. Jackson's tenure has been consistently exhibited the highest degree of professionalism, earning the respect and admiration of the Board of Education, faculty, staff, students, and community members. Whereas Dr. Jackson's integrity is beyond reproach, and she has always acted in the best interest of the district ensuing transparency, accountability in all her endeavors. And whereas under Dr. Jackson's leadership, the students of Lindop District 92 have achieved significant academic progress, demonstrating the effectiveness of her vision and the quality of education provided within the district. And whereas Dr. Jackson has provided exceptional leadership in the long-term restoration of Lindop School Building, creating a modern and safe learning environment for current and future generations of students. And whereas Dr. Jackson has spearheaded efforts that have resulted in nearly 1 million in property tax relief for residents of the district over the past several years, she's also secured over 1 million in grants for the 2023 through 2024 school year, demonstrating her commitment to fiscal responsibility and community well-being. And whereas Dr. Jackson has brought Freedom School to Lindop District 92, promoting cultural literacy, civil engagement, student activism, making Lindop's Broadview Freedom School one of the 8 schools in the state of Illinois and the only school in the Proviso Township area. And whereas the Board of Education of Lindop District 92 desires to express its profound gratitude and appreciation for Dr. Jackson's outstanding contributions to the district. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Education at Lindop District 92, number one, the Board of Education hereby commends and praises Dr. Jackson for her nearly 10 years of exemplary service and as superintendent to Lindop District 92. The board expresses its full confidence in Dr. Jackson's professionalism and integrity. The board expresses its sincere appreciation for the significant learning achievements of the district students during Dr. Jackson's tenure. The board acknowledges and appreciates Dr. Jackson's leadership in the long-term restoration of the Lindop School building. The board recognizes and appreciates Dr. Jackson's leadership in securing nearly 1 million in property tax relief for district residents in June 1, 2025 be proclaimed Dr. Jackson's Day at Lindop School District. Oh, that is beautiful.
Say it one more time.
You can say it one more time.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Okay, that June 1st, 2025 be proclaimed Dr. Janice Jackson Day at Lindop in honor of Dr. Jackson's 10th anniversary of leading the school.
That's right.
Dr. Jackson, I think they have something for you. All right. Oh, we got to take a picture with you.
Yes.
So come on up front.
Go talk. That's Alice.
Yeah, Dr. J, they look like they got a video for you. So let's move right along into my report. First, I would like to say thank you to men of distinction for what they did for our teachers last week. Special shout out to our own board member, Mr. Greg Buchanan, Ms. O, Eb, really appreciate it. Dr. Robinson. That's what I meant to say. Miss O, you was there to help us too. And I was dirty trying to help set up for these teachers. But Dr. O, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate what you guys do for our students each and every day. Men of distinction, I'm gonna pass it over to Greg so he can say what he needs to say. I heard he gave you guys a wonderful speech. But Mr. Buchanan, it's yours for a bit.
I'm gonna make it real short. Once again, I appreciate the teachers and staff. I stand by you. I defend you, and I appreciate you. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Also, just on yesterday, we happened to be over at Chick-fil-A. It was Lindop Day at Chick-fil-A. And I am proud to announce that we raised over $555 for Lindop on yesterday. That was a wonderful turnout. PTA, thank you for hosting and allowing the Board of Education to be there and be a part of such a wonderful event. Greg, Miss Stormy, they were serving away. They need to be on Chick-fil-A's payroll. Yeah. Also, I would definitely like to give a shout out to our newest board member, his first actual board meeting, Mr. Taylor. Welcome aboard, Mr. Taylor. And last but not least, Dr. Jackson, welcome back to the building. It's been a long time coming, but welcome back. We got boots on the ground.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Back here where we need you. We got him on the spot. Welcome back. 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 We always could spot a friend. Welcome back. And I smile when I think how it must have been. And I know what a scene you were learning in. Was there something that made you come back again? And what could ever lead you? What could ever lead you? Back here where we need you. Back here where we need you. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Was there something that made you come back again? And what could ever lead you? What could ever lead you? Back here where we need you. Back here where we need you. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, we tease him a lot. Welcome back. Welcome back. 'Cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, we tease him a lot. 'Cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. 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 Welcome back.
Well, that concludes my report. Welcome back, Dr. Jackson. Superintendent's report.
Welcome back, Dr. Jackson. And for the superintendent report, a reminder that every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So as we move towards accomplishing our board goals, we come together and we had an opportunity to attend the United Negro College Fund Gala to raise money for students to attend university. It was a really great night, and we thank you, board members and some teachers and staff for attending it as well. Board Goal 2, facilities. We have been having meetings with Archon, our architect. We have had exciting meetings like picking out finishes and furniture and material, those types of things, color schemes. And so we will be briefing you soon with upcoming information on the final phases before we go out to bid. Board Goal 3, Programs and Services. We had a wonderful Black History performance. We want to thank Ms. Jones, Dr. Robertson, Mrs. Opari Saforo, and all of the staff for holding that performance. The students did an excellent job. It was really a great night. Thank you so much for that. Also in Board Goal 3, Programs and Services, we held our Black History Bowl on February 28th. And so our children got to show off their knowledge of Black history, and it was really just a great time. You can learn a lot from those kiddos. Board Goal 5, Community and District Relations. We hosted the West 40 Spelling Bee on March 5th, and we do host another Spelling Bee, the Regional Spelling Bee, tomorrow night here at Lindop. Board Goal 6, Recruitment and Retention. Thank you to Black Men United and Men of Distinction. On March 10th, they did a lunch during the Teacher Institute Day, and also were able to give away some small gifts and prizes to the teachers and staff to show their appreciation. We really appreciate that donation. Thank you very much, Black Men United and Men of Distinction. And that concludes the superintendent report.
I have a question.
Okay, before we proceed, we did not, I seconded, we didn't vote on her resolution. Let's take that vote right now. Okay? Roll call, please.
We have discussion.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I guess, I'm surprised to see the resolution on here. This is a board, we didn't discuss it prior to.
Okay, so let's discuss it now.
I'm saying, is there any reason why the full board wasn't made aware of it prior to today?
It was sent to the full board, to my understanding. I asked, was it sent out? Oh, you guys got it. You got access to board book, so does the rest of us.
Yep, but I'm saying prior to it being an agenda item on the board, who made the decision? Because it's
For what decision?
for the resolution.
So we did something to welcome Dr. Jackson back. For her entire welcome back, you wasn't in there. So let's talk about that. And then we could talk about everything else.
Okay, let's talk about, I had to go to the bathroom. We need to talk about, I gotta go to the bathroom.
So what I'm saying is that
I'm not saying it's not warranted. I'm not saying that Dr. Jackson is not worthy of it. What I am saying is that the problem is, why wasn't the full board made aware? Because
let's stop there. Steve, was you made aware? Thank you.
When we
Hold on. Ms. Griffin, was you made aware? Thank you.
I'm asking.
Was you made aware? Thank you. Was you made aware? You was not. So just the two of you weren't aware.
So when was the board made aware, Ms.
When it was put in board book, Ms. Williams-Wolford?
But when it's put in board books, the agenda is already established, so therefore a decision is already made. There should be a discussion for any board item to be discussed prior to that.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So it wasn't. I apologize then. I'll take the blame. Okay. If you don't want it, vote no. Okay. So we can move on.
Clearly, I have no problem voting for how my mind
Thank you.
every time.
Thank you. Let's move on.
But I'm saying going forward, if it's a board decision, can the full board be a part of it? It sounds like.
It sounds like everybody was.
No, it wasn't. Mr. Dawson didn't know, I didn't know, and we don't even know if Mr. Morris know because he's not here.
Okay.
So 4 board members were aware and the other 2 that's present was not.
Okay. Again, I said that I will take the blame for it. I apologize that I didn't make sure that you knew about it. Mr. Dawson, ditto for you too.
I got you.
Okay?
Oh.
I apologize. All right? All lines are clear? Thanks. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr. absent.
That motion carried. Thank you. Committee reports.
I'm sorry, I had a question for Dr. Betts. So historically, we've always presented items for discussion at one regular board meeting, and then the next board meeting, we take action on it. I noticed this board meeting agenda, I have serious concerns regarding the proposed salary increases and benefits for administrators and board and raises that question transparency, fiscal responsibility, and ethical governance. For example, there's a $36,000 increase in your salaries, Dr. Betts as acting superintendent, a $20,000 increase for the executive assistant salary, which would bring her salary up to $100,000, and also benefits, HMO or PPO to be paid for her, which historically, I've been on this board 19 years, that has never happened, as well as $90,000 to be paid to Kathy Gibson because it's $100 an hour at $75 a rate. And it further brings concerns because now we're saying we asked the state association to look for our chief business official with a master's degree and all the required credentials. And we're saying that his salary should be 110, his or her, that individual's, let me correct my language, salary should be 110,000 to 130,000, whereas the secretary is making 100,000 and Kathy's make $100,000, and this chief business official, we're asking this individual to come in here and make 110 to 130. Also, we're asking to pay Kathy Gibson $90,000 at 100 hours per month, but we're going to ask this person to work more than 100 hours a month for 110 to 130. There needs to be more transparency and more ethical practices in this district. And why we didn't have a discussion this month and then voting on it next month, I'm not sure why this is all being rushed and there's an election coming up.
I understand everything that Mrs. Williams-Wolford has said, but at the same time, I need to also ask her if she can remember the special board meeting that she wanted to rush. She would not let the secretary do the the agenda for it. You did it yourself. No one knew anything about what was going to be on it. Now, this is something that you yourself brushed through. Wait a minute, let me finish. And then too, you yourself went and negotiated a contract with Mr. Gress and then tried to bring it back to the board. Number one, it's not your job to go out and negotiate a contract with anyone. Then you wanted to sneak him in on the day of the special board meeting because you knew myself and Mr. Hannah wasn't going to be there. Now, if we're talking about transparency and everything else, let's just put it all on the board here.
Okay, so let's make it clear about that board meeting. I called each board member and asked if they would be available at the board meeting. You and Hannah said that you would not be. So Open Meetings Act says that if you have 4 people available, you can have a meeting. I did not rush Mr. Gress. I did not create a contract for Mr. Gress. Mr. Gress, Dr. Jackson called him in about 3 years ago, maybe, when there was some situations going on in that same situation. He presented the same contract that he had at that time. He said he was willing to work for the same amount, which was $100 an hour at that time. And that's what was going to make the board aware about at that night. However, the meeting did not happen because we did not have a full quorum. I did not rush anything. Dr. Betts made me aware that our secretary was in a 2-day professional development conference. And she said, I will pull her out the conference so she could do the agenda. I said, no, we've paid for her to be there. I'm at home. I could type up the agenda. So I typed up the agenda. And it is my understanding from Dr. Betts, she said that Mr. Elliskew put it in board books. So it was fully available to everybody.
The agenda that you sent out.
I
to
don't have
everyone,
access to board books.
we weren't able to open the agenda that you
It was
sent
in
to
board
each
books.
individual person.
So I
So let's
really
get
not
back
trying-
to the question
No, no,
that
no,
I was
let's
asking.
not defer
But-
that. Let's
but
not
the key
defer.
point
Okay,
here
let's-
is
Because that
discussing this.
what Ms. Griffin just stated is what happened. You asked to have a special board meeting and you moved to push your agenda.
No, I did not.
Oh,
move.
yes, you did.
Open
Oh,
Meetings
oh,
Act
yes,
says
you
if you
did.
have 4 people available willing to have a meeting, you can.
So
The
let's-
4 people that was available at that time was Dawson, Mr. Buchanan, Mr. Morris, and myself.
For
And we
this,
moved
for a
forward.
discussion.
For
For a discussion is what you called and told me.
and possible.
Oh, no. It was not and possible anything. You
The-
called and told me we're discussing possibility to have Mr. Grass come in.
The meeting didn't happen, so why?
No, but the whole thing is that you put
You're
for
hollering the-
discussion, but then on the actual agenda, you put it as an action item.
Yeah, you're not
Now,
practicing
that's
what you
not
preach.
transparent.
It was,
And-
I said, if the
And-
reason it was for action, I said it's a discussion and if we want to move forward. Okay,
President, can we move on?
with it, so
Yeah,
what's the issue?
we're about to, but because she talked about transparency and
Right.
let's wake this up. Oh, this is exactly what you did, Penny.
Okay, so
So
the meeting
let's
didn't
not-
even happen
Correct.
because nobody wanted to move
But the
forward. when
fact
Mr.
is
Grant's
that you
coming back
went
here.
and tried to negotiate a contract with
I did
someone,
not.
which was not
I
your
did not.
responsibility. Yes, you
Okay.
did.
I did
You
not.
called me and told me about it.
You did.
So my
It's okay.
question still stands, why we don't have these action items as discussion this month and taking action next month, as we historically has in this district? Why are they on here for action items tonight at these costs, at these salary amounts?
Okay. All right.
So that's the question, Dr. Betts. Normally it's discussion, then the next month it's it's an action item.
These items are on the agenda for closed session.
Thank you.
But they're open session agenda items,
It's personnel.
Which would.
but we take action in open session. So my question is, why weren't they discussion for closed session this month, like we historically do? And then next month, they're on the agenda at a regularly scheduled board meeting as an agenda item. And we're not doing that.
So we could have discussed it yet in closed session. If it needed to be tabled, we could have tabled it and came back to it.
Is
We-
that
we
what
haven't
we're
even
doing?
got there.
Are we
You didn't.
tabling it?
We haven't even got there yet.
But
To discuss it.
we discuss it
We're
first.
talking about normal, but we're talking about now. We didn't discuss it. We are going to discuss it. And if we can get out of here, we're going to go have a discussion about it. And if we don't agree to it, we'll table it and come back to it.
So can we follow our regular protocol that historically we have? Can we table these items for action items for next month and discuss them in closed session as we typically would? And then if it warrants, then it comes back to the agenda next month as an action item?
If that's what the board wants to do. Of course. It's her friend. She wanted to get a minute. Here we go. Personnel committee meeting. Mr. Hannah, Ms. Griffin, next meeting date is to be determined. Finance committee meeting. Ms.
So
Griffin.
then I need to make a motion to table them. If that's what, so we can see if that's what the board pleasures is.
So they're on the agenda to be talked about in closed session. And then if we vote on them, we vote in open session. Correct?
Right, so what I'm asking is, can we follow our normal protocol to discuss in closed session as we typically do? And they be on the agenda next month.
So ask the rest of the board. They
Next
heard you, I
month.
heard you.
So then what I want to make is a motion to table, and then the board can vote on that.
Does she have a second?
No,
As-
I need to say what I want.
Well, say it.
I'm looking at the agenda so I can get the right items.
So
So-
what we're trying to do, just so I understand, is
What she's
is
trying
whether
to,
we're going to, what the question is, whether we're gonna go back to doing it the way we did, or whether we're gonna go forward the way it's on the agenda tonight.
Right.
That's- Okay,
Basically,
that's
if
what I'm asking.
if we're gonna do this, then she herself should be expected to follow those same guidelines and not try to slip stuff through when she wants to step aside of it.
I'm sure. Just-
So I make a motion to table agenda item 4, Kathy Gibson as interim business manager effective Thursday, December 19, 2024 at $75 per hour, not to exceed 100 hours per month, and shall continue until June 30th, 2025. I'm making a motion to table the recommended approval to approve board paid family insurance PPO HMO to executive assistant board secretary, Ms. Tamara Whitfield Graham. Tabling, making a motion to table. Tamara,
Mayor Grant.
okay, okay, okay. Recommend approval to compensate, to table compensation of executive board secretary, Ms. Tamara Graham, with an annual stipend for her financial work through the remainder of her contract at a rate of $20,000 to be paid retroactively to December 11, 2024, and prorated for the 2024-2025 school year. Making a motion to table recommended approval to compensate Assistant Superintendent Dr. Emily Betts with a $3,000 per month beginning per monthly beginning in December 2024 through the remainder of her contract for financial office support above and beyond the assistant superintendent duties. We table these items until the April regularly scheduled board meeting.
What we gotta do?
Does she have a second?
Oh, I'll second. Awesome. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Board member, Mr. One second. Board member, Mr. Dawson.
Yeah, yay.
Board member, Ms. Griffin.
Nay.
Board member,
What did she say?
she said no. Is that correct? That was a
Yes.
nay? Board member, Mr. Hannah.
No.
Board member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
No.
Board member, Mr. Buchanan.
No.
Board member, Mrs. Williams Wolford.
Yay.
Board member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Doesn't, Ms.
Motion
Griffin
defeated.
have to recuse herself because it's her daughter?
But that's just on me.
That's on one.
You have all these other ones here.
No, what I'm saying, she has to recuse herself from that table. It's her daughter. It's a conflict of interest.
So,
Okay, on that one item, I'll recuse myself.
On the
That's
one
not a
item,
problem.
right?
But I made it as a whole table.
Well, then I
item.
guess we'll have to break them out.
Okay, then I suggest you can move forward with that motion.
so motion carried.
There's 2 items you would have to recuse
Okay.
yourself.
Yeah, so we'll pull out number 5 and number 6. So those are the 2 I'll have to recuse myself from.
Number 5 and number 6.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't make the motion regarding me.
I know. I
Okay.
didn't make it.
Ms. Griffin. Don't need a motion. What I thought.
Ms. Wilford, you gonna make that motion?
Be adjusted. Rather loses 2 can.
All right, here we go. I make the motion to accept and enter into a contract with Kathy Gibson at an interim business manager effective Tuesday, December 19th, 2024 at a $75 per hour, not to exceed $100 an hour a month, and shall continue until June 30th, 2025.
Can't vote on it now.
No,
We
Mr.
got to go into discussion.
Okay, so at
Right,
this
we have
point,
to go into discussion in closed session. Then we vote once we come out.
so we could have voted, like I stated at first, have this conversation at first in
Right.
closed session,
Closed session.
and then we'll revisit it in open session. What I said 15 minutes ago.
Sure. Thank you.
Committee
We
reports.
can't vote on it now.
Personnel committee meeting, myself, Ms. Griffin, that next meeting date is to be determined. Finance committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, myself, next meeting date is to be determined. PACE governing board meeting, Mr. Dawson, Mr. Morris, Wednesday, February 19th, 2025, 6 p.m. Next meeting date is Wednesday, March 19th, 2025 at 6. Mr. Dawson.
All right, our meeting is tomorrow. The most important thing that's on the agenda that's affecting our board will be the item on the agenda about updating the HVAC system to geothermal. Currently, PACE has an outdated HVAC system. The geothermal will be better for the environment, as I've stated a little bit of this before, but I'm just making it again because tomorrow's the vote. I'm expecting it will be a yes vote, probably unanimous. Lindop's portion will be $62,596. Obviously, we've got 18,000 that's coming back. But our portion is by far the smallest, because obviously you've got 209 and people who are much bigger than us. But I think that it's going to be a great move for the for PACE, and it can actually kind of lead the way to something that's a bit more environmentally friendly. And from all the reports that we've seen, it's going to work out well for them.
Thank you.
That's it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know when Ms. Gibson was talking about that, she said there was the 18,000, but she also mentioned another figure.
Oh, I know that one thing that comes back is, I think that's our transportation budget. Is Mr. James still here? Essentially what he was speaking to was we're actually going to be getting more money just because they've tightened up the budget. And so the 18,000 is the total, but as far as a secondary amount getting
Yeah,
back,
because she said the other amount would be rolled into it with what everyone is already paying.
you know what?
I
I'm
could
not,
be wrong, but
I'm not
Ms.
sure. I'm
Gibson's
not
still
sure about
here.
that. He was just the one.
Ms. Gibson's still here if there's questions for Ms. Gibson.
Okay. Ms. Gibson, are you aware of a secondary refund that we'll be getting in addition to the 18,000?
Yeah, because I thought.
Or just holler from
If it's a yes.
There's 72,000 additional dollars, above the 18,000 is the total reduction, yet 72,000 is owed to PACE for other expenses.
Right.
So it's 18,000.
We're only getting 18 back,
18,000.
correct? Yeah,
Oh,
we're only
okay,
getting a total
thanks.
of 18. Yeah.
Thank you. I just needed clarification on that.
Yeah, no problem.
Good.
Yeah.
Safety SEL committee meeting, Mr. Morris, Mr. Buchanan. Next meeting date is to be determined. Policy committee meeting, Mr. Dawson, Ms. Williams-Woodford, Wednesday, March 12th, 2025 at 4:30. Next meeting date is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 4:30. Anything on that?
Nothing major. Go ahead.
Thank you. Technology committee meeting, Mr. Buchanan, Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 3:45 p.m. That next meeting date is to be determined. Mr. Buchanan?
We'll let Josh go.
I'm gonna say that you have me.
Yeah.
Good evening again. So we discussed the Chromebooks that you guys voted on approved. We also discussed putting swipe cards on all the doors in the building. That way we eliminate keys of lost keys and monitoring who can go, certain parts of the building. And then we also looked at E-rate. E-rate is now offering internet access for kids at home with hotspots. That's first time new this year.
Okay.
And so we're looking at getting that if we get approved.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Strategic planning committee member, that's all board members. That's ad hoc, activated when needed. Community engagement committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, Mr. Buchanan. Next meeting date is to be determined. Negotiations committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, myself, that is ad hoc, activated when needed. I move that the board go into closed session under 5 ILCS 120-2 C1489 and 10 to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, or performance of specific employees of the public body. Evidence or testimony presented in open hearing or in closed hearing where specifically authorized by law, security procedures, school building, safety and security, student disciplinary cases, and the placement of individual students in special education programs and other matters relating to individual students at 7:44 p.m. Have a second, please.
Second, Brian Dawson.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member Mrs. Williams Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member Mr. Morris Junior, absent. Okay.
Thank you. Motion carries. You guys have a wonderful evening.
So I am recording open session, just so you all know.
We gotta go back and reconvene open session at 10:33. All in favor, say.
No, here it is.
I second. Second. Now all in favor. Roll call, please. Roll call, Miss Graham.
Okay, 1 second, please. Okay, Board President, Mr. Hannah. Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin. Yay. Stephen Taylor, Board Member. Board Member, Mr. Dawson. Board Member, Mr. Buchanan. Board Member, Mrs. Williams Wolford. Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Good.
Yep, motion carried.
Thank you. I make a motion to not accept the resignation submitted by middle school. I have a second.
You make a motion not to?
We would have to read it as it's like, and then all of us just deny it, right?
Yeah, because otherwise you gotta strike it and redo the motion.
So just state the motion
As it is. Okay.
I make the motion to accept the resignation submitted by middle school PLA teachers to be held effective Thursday, May 28, 2025.
Thank you. Board Member, Mr. Hannah. Board Member, Ms. Griffin.
No.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
No.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
No.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
No.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams Wolford. Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent. You're welcome.
Board Member Greg Buchanan, I make a motion to accept the resignation submitted by middle school science teacher Matthew. I'm gonna do what the kids did. So Winsky, effective with I got three dots. Effective Thursday, May 28th, 2025.
And a second. Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Brian Dawson, I make a motion to accept the resignation submitted by social worker Ken Markovic, effective Thursday, May 28th, 2025.
Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Stephen Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member, Mrs. Williams Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Junior, absent.
Okay, the number 4, we need to rewrite that.
Make a motion to accept and enter into a contract with Kathy Gibson as an interim business manager effective February 15th at $75 per hour, not to exceed 100 hours per month, and shall continue until June 30th, 2025.
1 second, because I need to reflect.
I didn't say the week, the day of the week, I just said February.
Well, no, I'm saying because it was there before, and you had to do, that's why I'm saying. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
Mr. Hannah, second?
Yeah.
Saturday is February 15th.
Okay. Board President, Mr. Hannah.
Yay.
Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Mr. Dawson.
Yeah.
Board Member Mr. Taylor. Board Member Mr. Buchanan. Board Member Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member Mr. Morris Jr. Absent. Sorry about that.
Okay, I make a motion. Yeah, I make a motion to table, number 5, supervisor board. I make a motion to table until the April regularly scheduled board meeting to approve board paid family insurance, PPO, HMO to executive assistant board member, Ms. Tamara Green.
Second, Brian Dawson.
Mr. Dawson, second. Roll call. Board President, Mr. Hannah. Board President, or excuse me, Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Abstain.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor. Board Member, Mr. Buchanan. Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yeah.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr. absent.
I make a motion to approve to compensate executive assistant. I make a motion to table
So, April.
to April's board meeting. Yeah, to April's regular session board meeting, regular scheduled board meeting to approve the compensated executive assistant for the board secretary, Mr. Mayor Graham, with the annual stipend for the financial work through the remainder of the contract and a rate of $20,000 to be paid retroactively to December 11, 2024, and prorated for the 2025 fiscal year. Can I have a second?
A second.
Roll call, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah. Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Abstain.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Taylor. Board Member, Mr. Buchanan. Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr. absent.
Thank you. And last but not least,
I make a motion that we table to the April regularly scheduled board meeting. The motion to approve to compensate Assistant Superintendent Dr. Emily Betts with a stipend of $3,000 per month, beginning in December 2024 through the remainder of a contract for financial office support above and beyond the Assistant Superintendent duties.
have a second, please.
Board President, Mr. Hannah. Board Secretary, Ms. Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member, Mr. Dawson. Board Member, Mr. Taylor. Board Member, Mr. Buchanan. Board Member, Mrs. Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
And Board Member, Mr. Morris Jr. absent.
Thank you, motion carried. I move that we
Time.
adjourn at 10:41 PM. Have a second?
Brian Dawson, I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.